Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's Market Monkey Trades here. I'm going to go over my $174 trade from this morning that I made through supply and demand. And quickly, before we get into the video, I just want to go over a few things. MarketMonkeyTrades.com, that's where my full supply and demand course is, and also Market Monkey LLC on Instagram. I post my entries, my exits, and my thought process behind my supply and demand trades every single day. So you're definitely going to want to go follow me there. Alright, now let's get into this video. So yesterday we had a very choppy market, and the overall direction of the market has been bearish, and I normally like to trade the direction of the market. So since it was bearish yesterday, I took some puts in the supply zone, and the supply zone was holding over the overnight session. However, when the bell rang this morning, we had insane volume come in, and with this volume coming in and NASDAQ holding that 1400 level, I knew that this was going to rip through this supply zone. And if you look at my notes here, demand zones that can't hold key levels generally will turn into supply zones and have good put opportunities. Supply zones that can't hold key levels generally will turn into demand zones and have good call opportunities. Obviously, guys, this is only true if there's volume and price action coming through. So if we look at the supply zone that held the overnight session in yesterday, this supply zone, when it gets ripped through these key levels, generally will turn into a nice demand zone. I actually love these setups because it's such a good resistance level for a supply zone to turn into a demand, and for a demand to turn into supply if it can't hold those key levels anymore. So the bell opened, we ripped through VWAP, we ripped through the SMAs, and I was looking to get long as soon as I saw other indicators telling me that this zone was going to be valid. So again, guys, supply and demand zones are just areas of interest. They're not always going to work. So I like to have other indicators lining up with my supply and demand zones to tell me that this trade will be valid. So I trade the S&P 500, and in order to trade the S&P 500, you need to know what moves the S&P 500. And Microsoft and Apple, if you look, have basically identical charts, same with S&P 500. That's because that's what moves S&P 500. So in order to trade the ES, I have to be looking at these names. I have to be looking at NASDAQ. And that's what I mean when I say have other indicators telling you that your trade is going to be valid. So I was looking at NASDAQ in this supply zone, and I knew that this supply zone was going to break and be a great opportunity for a rip up and turn into demand if NASDAQ could break this 1400 level and hold it. Also, if Microsoft and Apple was going to rip and hold the SMAs, I knew that I was going to have a better trade, and that's exactly what happened. Also, again, guys, Microsoft formed this demand zone. So I was listening to these CNBC guys saying, oh, you might want to short the market, but I knew that Microsoft was in this demand zone. Why would I short the market if Microsoft, which moves the S&P 500, is in a demand zone? You know what I mean? So I knew that I was going to take this long from the S&P 500, even though it was in the supply, because Microsoft and Apple were breaking out, because NASDAQ was holding the 1400. I knew that this market was going to go to the upside. So you can't just I like to just only listen to my trading plans, because people will trip you out, and it's important that you follow your plan and your key levels. So my indicators: Apple ripping, Microsoft bouncing off of demand, NASDAQ holding the 1400, completely ripping off the 1400, and a clean break of this supply zone turning into demand. I knew this all was great indicators that I was going to take this market long. That's what I did. I entered right about here, took my profits as soon as we hit supply. That's what I do. If I'm going long at demand, I take profits at supply. If I'm going short at supply, I take profits at demand. Or if you were going short here, you could now take profits at this newly formed demand zone. So guys, if you could take away anything from this video, I would say supply and demand is levels of interest. combine that with other indicators, like how I combined this demand zone with Microsoft, Apple ripping, and NASDAQ holding that key level. That gave me enough confirmation to take this market long. And again, supply zones that break with very high volume generally will turn into demand, and demand zones that break to the downside with high volume generally will turn into supply and give you guys great opportunities. So without further ado, I hope this was an insightful video for you guys. I make supply and demand live trading recaps about every single trading day, and it's very insightful videos. There's not really anyone on YouTube showing you guys, breaking down in layman's terms, how to trade supply and demand. So I'd really appreciate if you guys commented, liked, and subscribed. It would really help me out, and it would motivate me to keep making these videos for you guys. So thank you again, and I will see you guys in the next video.